Hi guys, it's me, Trudy Lee. Welcome to my channel. How's everybody doing today? If you're new to my channel, welcome, and thank you for dropping by. Today I'm going to talk about Ron DeSantis and his what he just said in the news, and I'm going to talk a lot about Ukraine because I just did a little bit of check-in on Ukraine, and I wanted to pass this along to you guys. I have a lot of information. Hopefully I can get it all out. I actually went back and studied the history of Ukraine, so I wanted to talk to y'all about it and make everybody understand all that Ukraine has gone through. And it's really horrible. If you go, Google Ukraine and look at their history, they've gone through a horrible time. So just recently here, Ron DeSantis was addressing the crowd and said that the Russian-Ukraine war is just a territorial dispute. They're just, they just want Ukraine back. It's just a dispute. But they have killed thousands upon thousands of innocent people. They're raping women and men and torturing them. And it's so much more than just territorial dispute. So now I'm going to talk to you about the history of Ukraine. And I found it very interesting. I hope y'all will too. In 1922, Ukraine was considered the breadbasket of the Soviet Union. Okay, so it was, even right now, they have very fertile land. So they have very, very fertile farmland, and it was a very important place. Now, Belarus and Ukraine, they were all once part of this Russian Empire. And in 1876, they had a ban on teaching Ukrainian, to the people. They wouldn't let them speak Ukrainian language or speak it or publish any books that were in Ukraine. They couldn't, they couldn't speak it. They couldn't have anything. They couldn't even have plays in the Ukrainian language. It was just everything about Ukraine was just banned. They couldn't have lectures. They just were trying to stamp out the Ukrainian language. And, that's just part of what has happened, what they've been through. And in 1917, Ukraine was briefly independent, very briefly. And in 1932 and 1933 was a horrible genocide. Stalin's government created a man-made famine. And you probably all know about this, but some of you may not. It's called the Holodomor genocide. And what they did was the Soviets went into Ukraine. They seized all the crops. They sold them overseas to different markets to fund this, all the plans they had to take over Ukraine. They seized their animals, their pets. Everything was removed, and people just starved to death. I mean, starved to death. It was horrible. They just made sure that the Ukrainian people had absolutely nothing to eat. 4 million people died and starved to death. How horrific is that? That's horrible. So now we already have, this, a really bad connection with the Soviet, Russian people and Ukraine. Now, in 1941 to 1944, here comes Germany. Germany invades Ukraine, Nazi Germany, right? And 1.5 million Jews were killed by the Nazis. I mean, they've had one thing after another coming. They try to get a little stronger, and then they're knocked down by something else. So it was, a big war between the Soviet Union and Germany. And then the Soviets took back Ukraine. And during that war, there was between 5 and 7 million people died in that war. These people have been through one atrocity after another. And then there was World War II, 1946, 47. That's another famine. and people died. Food production, wasn't restored until around, I think, the 1960s that I read. And then they had the Chernobyl disaster in 1986. It sickened many people, and this also contributed to the collapse of the USSR. Ukraine, at that time, they took a vote. The Ukrainian people, they took a vote, and 92.3% of the people voted for an independent Ukraine. So they really wanted, to be independent. That's what they wanted. That's what they voted for. And Ukraine became the third largest holder of nuclear weapons because, the Soviets had a bunch of warheads there, but the Soviets actually controlled them because they had all the software and everything. So Ukraine held them all, but they couldn't control them, right? But they were on their land. So they made a deal. Ukraine and Russia made this deal. Russia said, give us back our warheads, give us back our nuclear weapons, and we'll recognize you as an independent nation. So that's what they did. One warhead was left behind, and it was destroyed. So they destroyed that. But in 2004, there was a lot of unrest in Ukraine. It's a very, very poor nation, so there's a lot of unrest and everything. And it was called the Orange Revolution because there was a lot of corruption going on in the presidential election. And that unrest overturned the election. And then we fast forward to like 10 more years, 2014, there's more unrest. The president of Ukraine would not sign off on the free trade agreement with the EU. And the people wanted it, and, he didn't want to sign off on it. So there was a lot of unrest going on there. Then they had an early election. And then there became this uprising, this pro-Russian uprising in eastern Ukraine, right? And was probably sponsored by Russia. They just invaded eastern Ukraine, the Donbas region. That's where it was. And that's where the fighting started, and that's where it continues too. So in that region there, fighting's been going on for a long time. In 2014, Ukraine annexed the Crimea area, where they have the ports to the Black Sea, annexed it into Ukraine. And of course, Russia didn't like that too much. But Russia does have control of it right now because they overtook it. In 2019, Ukraine made some changes to its constitution, so that they would have links to the EU and to NATO. Russia didn't like that either because, Ukraine has been wanting to be a part of NATO, and that's what they were hopefully getting, building up to, put it that way. And in 2021, for the first time, Ukraine allowed the sale of farmland. So for 20 years, you couldn't sell your farmland in Ukraine at all, and that was because they were afraid that the oligarchs would come over from Russia and buy all the land. So they didn't let anybody sell their land. Well, now they're in 2021 because of us going through the pandemic. Supply chains were so interrupted, and there's so much going on that they changed the law and said, okay, you can sell your farmland. And that really made a boost. That was a huge boom for Ukraine. It really was. They really became the biggest exporter of sunflower oil, fourth largest shipper of corn, exporter of corn and grain. So they were doing very, very well, extraordinarily. And, like I said, they've been a very, very poor country for such a long time. And all of a sudden, they're getting stronger and doing well. And, possibly are going to join NATO. And Russia, they can't have that. They just could not have that. They could not let Ukraine join NATO. They don't want Ukraine to be stronger. They interpret it as a threat to Russia. That's how Russia, interprets it. And Ukraine is the second largest European country. It's a huge country. And the Ukraine people have endured so much. I mean, just look at their history. I kind of jammed it all together a little bit, but they've really gone through so much. It's so sad. And Ron DeSantis is partially correct. It is a territorial dispute, but it's also genocide. It's not, just territorial. It's much, much worse than that. It's much, much worse than what's happened in the past, of the Holodomor genocide. It's worse than that. It's horrible. We all have to stand up against Russia's aggression. And once again, Russia needs to be held responsible for war crimes. They really do. Putin. Y'all remember when I did a reading on Ron DeSantis, and I said, I saw him, he was like putting on all these different masks. I could just see him putting on this mask, that mask. And I feel like this is just how he does to try to appeal to the masses, And right now he's trying to appeal to Trump's base because he feels like that's how he's going to get nominated. And then he'll change his mask. So depending on who he's standing in front of, who he's addressing, where he's at, that will, depend on which mask he'll wear. So we'll see him change. He's gonna morph into different people. He's a sneaky guy. He's really sneaky, but he's really smart too. So he's out campaigning when he hasn't even declared his presidency, but he's already going out and campaigning. But that's because, he wanted to make sure that he's still the governor. So he wants both things at once. Also, not only that, but he's kind of got a big head, and he really likes all this attention. So if the more that he goes around acting like he's campaigning, but not saying he's campaigning, the more the camera's on him, the more attention he's getting, because there's so much speculation going on. He's very, very crafty, very smart, and he's holding the whole country's attention by not declaring. How smart is he, So that, everybody's just got eyes on him all the time. But he will, he'll start saying different things, because I do see him changing his mask. He'll say one thing to one group and one thing to another. You'll see it, because, the base is actually small. Now, it could get him nominated for the Republican Party, but general election isn't going to listen to what he has to say. So he will be changing his mask around. So as the camera watches him, we'll see him evolve with different masks. You'll see. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a few cards and see just, that's the feeling that I'm getting right now from DeSantis. And let's just see what Spirit has to add to this. Let's see. So I hope you guys are doing well and everything's going good. It is a little overcast today. We haven't had a lot of sunshine. Been a little bit cool. Hadn't gotten up to 70 degrees yet today. It was real cool. We had our fire party last night. It was very cool. We had a fire. You guys, you can't believe this. I bought my husband a new fire pit. I was so proud of myself. Somebody was selling it on Facebook, and I went and bought it for him, brought it home. It looked brand new. It maybe had been used once or twice. And it says Texas on the side. It's black. It's real cute. And I was like, look what I got for you. So we put a fire last night for the first time. Y'all, you won't believe what happened. Our deck caught on fire. I am not kidding you. I think it's too low to the ground. And I think that's why the people on Facebook were selling it. They must have had a problem too. And they were like, it's brand new, but we don't need it anymore. I'm like, okay, I want it. Well, I don't think I want it anymore. I'm not kidding you. Everybody was sitting around. We had 62 people last night. They were on the deck. And all of a sudden, somebody ran in and goes, Dad, the deck's on fire. I think it was my daughter. I could hear him, Dad, the deck's on fire. Of course, we have the water hose right here on the patio and everything. My husband just turned on the water hose. He put the fire out. But I went and looked. Of course, I ran with a pitcher of water. By the time I ran over there with a pitcher of water, my husband had the hose putting it out. It was okay. But yeah, we have to replace 2 more boards on the deck now. I kept telling Johnny, okay, we counted about 62 people came. Our deck is really big, and there was probably 50 people all at once on the deck all the time. At least 50 people. And I was telling Johnny, I hope our deck will hold. And he was like, see, you put a bad eye on our deck. You kept saying, I hope our deck will hold, and you caught it on fire. Oh my gosh, y'all. It was good, though. It was fine. Everybody had a great time. We jumped over the fire, ate lots of food. So much work, y'all. That was so much work. Lots of work. But people appreciated it so much. It was so good to see our friends, and they were so, so happy to be with us, and they were, so thankful that we hosted that event. So even though it took us 2 weeks of work, and everybody left. It started at 7. They left at 10. I'm like, what the hell, y'all? That was 3 hours. I've been working on this deck for 2 weeks. Could you stay a little longer? Could you stay till midnight? But it's a weekday night. People have to go to work, so they left. Anyway. But we had a good time. We really did. Okay. So let's see. Let me see here. Ron DeSantis. Okay, so Ron DeSantis. 10 of Pentacles. He's got lots of support and lots of money coming in. Lots of money. So he's got what he needs right now. He's getting it all in place. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of... he's well liked in Florida, and there's a lot of people backing him up. So there's a lot of people with money surrounding him, and he's got the money rolling right in. This is the Justice card. So this is karma. And it's funny because it's going to catch up with DeSantis. And, most everyone wants to help Ukraine. And I think he's made an error when he made this statement. And I believe he's going to adjust it. I think we're going to be hearing him change his stance a little bit. You know what I mean? Because everybody is talking about what he said, and, most everybody believes that we should be helping Ukraine. Anybody that, has love in their heart for another human being would want to help the Ukrainian people with all that they're going through and been displaced and everything, and the horrors that Russia has, done to them. So I feel like this is a Justice card, and that it's all about balance. And he's going to feel the heat. He'll change. He'll fix it. He will. He will. Or, if he doesn't, then he would never have any ability to get elected, to be the nominee and everything. So I feel like that is just like, that's going to help him find his next mask. And then the third card I pulled for him is the Magician card. So don't underestimate DeSantis. He's so smart. And he does have a whole lot of support. He has a lot of resources, and he's very tricky. A little presto, a sleight of the hands, put on a different mask, and be whoever he needs to be when he's addressing whoever. That's what this is all about. You know, he has everything he needs to become the nominee. He could do this, y'all. He really could do this because he's tricky. He's a tricky guy, and he's smart. So we'll definitely be hearing a lot more from Ron DeSantis. You know, all the flack that he's getting for not supporting Ukraine, I am sure he's going to fix it. I'm sure he is, because he's smart and he knows, you know, he won't get anywhere unless he fixes it. So, yeah. That's all I got for him right now, y'all. So we'll be hearing a lot more from him. He's very smart. He really is. The guy, DeSantis, the guy that's running for president that's not running, that everybody's wandering around and chasing, and we're listening to him like on pins and needles. What's he going to do? Who cares? What's he going to do? Nobody cares. We don't want him, so we don't care. And here I am all talking about him, right? But really, I'd like to just keep our eyes on Ukraine. You guys pray for the people of Ukraine. They need your help. Also, there's a lot of things going on, weather-wise. Look at California. Oh my gosh. God bless you all. Gone through a tremendous weather problems, one after each other. It's unbelievable. And now there's a northeasterner. The northeastern states are, having a lot of snow, a lot of storms and everything. My granddaughter's here. I'm thankful, and she's been at the beach. It's been nice and warm, so she's been at the beach. She camped out with her friends at the beach. I'm so glad she's not in New York and, having to go through all that cold and stormy weather. God bless you guys. Y'all stay out of the weather. You guys that are in the middle of all this flooding, all these problems and everything, God bless you. My prayers are with you. And please listen to your news outlets and advisories and make plans so that you can stay ahead of all the problems. Okay, you guys? I appreciate that. All right, guys, I sure talked a lot. I said a lot in a little bit of a time. But anyway, I have a husband out there. I'm going to go see how I can take care of him, because I've been doing work all day today. Since the last 2 weeks, I've been, prioritizing this, getting ready for this fire party and all. Our next event will be on Sunday. It'll be the Iranian New Year's on Sunday. So family will come over and we'll exchange some gifts and we'll have fish and sabzi rice. And I'll have to make something else, an alternative to fish, because some people don't eat fish. I'll have to have an alternative, but I will. We have so many leftovers from last night, you guys. Oh my gosh. People brought so much food, because everybody brings food, and it's like one big, huge picnic. Delicious food. I myself was running around with my head cut off, so I didn't really eat anything. I did have like 2 glasses of wine and nothing to eat. I had a piece of cake, because it was our anniversary too, so I had a piece of cake, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm going to go eat some leftovers today, though. I haven't eaten anything today yet either, but I plan on going and eating some leftovers. I make ash. It's a soup that they make for the Iranian New Year's. It has noodles in it. It has all this, lots of greens in it, lots of sabzi. I make it in a portable oven. You know how big a portable oven is? I make this ash. The soup is to the very rim of this portable oven. And it's very, very good. People love it. Everybody loves my ash. I cook it for 2 days. So I had started on it on Monday. I cooked it on Monday. I started at 1 o'clock Monday. Oh my gosh, I didn't get out of the kitchen till like 10 o'clock. And then, of course, it cooked until yesterday, until people came at 7 o'clock. So it was delicious. Everybody liked it. I had a couple of bites of that, but I have a little bit left over. I have enough for a few people to have a small bowl left over. So I'm going to go eat some of that. Anyway, everything went very, very well, and I'm hopefully not going to have to cook for the next couple of days because I have that many leftovers. I just hope the grandkids are okay with that. My grandkids are home for spring break. So it is spring break time. You guys, lots of people are out there Be careful, spring breakers. Be smart, be careful. Have fun, but do it in a smart way. Right? Don't be drinking too much, kids. If you're listening to this, be careful. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you'd like to get a reading with me, oops, here's my phone. Sorry about that. Have a girlfriend calling me. Need to answer her. But I've been working all day and I haven't had a chance to talk to her. She was supposed to come last night and she didn't. But anyway, y'all take care. Love you so much. Look down below. I'll leave my email if you need a chakra balancing, if you need energy cleanse, if you'd like to get a reading, please let me know. Just email me and we'll set it up, okay? Love y'all. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. And I'm free. I'm ready to work. I am ready to work. No more doing the debt. So let's go. Do something kind for somebody. It'll always come back to you. Bye for now.